the boy and despite his struggles threw him into the river. The cold water swallowed him, and the boy's panic turned to sheer terror as he flailed his arms, desperately trying to stay afloat. A few moments later, the boy struggled in the water, gasping for breath and realizing how dangerous the situation had become. The boat, which he had feared so much, now seemed like the safest place in the world. His cries for help were no longer about his fear of the boat, but his fear of drowning. Once upon a time, there was a kind and compassionate king who ruled over a prosperous kingdom. He was known for having a soft heart and deeply caring for his people. The king would often wander among his subjects, listening to their troubles and helping them in any way he could. His kindness earned him the love and respect of his kingdom, and he was celebrated as a wise and just ruler. One day, the king decided to take a journey across a wide and deep river that bordered his kingdom. It was a sunny day, perfect for travel, and the king wanted to see the far-off villages on the other side. Along with him, he took several servants, including a young slave who had recently joined the royal household. The young slave had never seen a river before, and the idea of sailing across its vast waters terrified him. As soon as the boat left the shore and began to drift into the middle of the river, the boy's face turned pale with fear. His hands shook and his body stiffened, unable to control his emotions. The boy began to cry out in terror, clutching the sides of the boat. His loud sobs echoed over the water. The king, hearing the boy's cries, was filled with pity. His soft heart couldn't bear to see someone in such distress. He tried to comfort the boy. "Fear not," the king said kindly. "You are safe with us, and this boat will take us across the river without harm. There's nothing to worry about." But the boy's fear was too great. He had never experienced anything like this before, and no words of reassurance could calm him. He wept louder, his cries growing more desperate with each passing moment. His panic soon became unbearable for everyone on board, including the king, who began to feel helpless. Among the passengers was a wise man, known throughout the kingdom for his intelligence and insight into human nature. He had been traveling with the king to offer counsel on various matters. Noticing the young boy's uncontrollable fear, the wise man approached to the king and bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty," he said, "if I may, I believe I can help calm the boy." The king, always open to suggestions and keen to bring peace to those around him, nodded and said, "Please do. His suffering troubles me, and I would be the most grateful for any help you can offer." The wise man approached the frightened boy and gave a subtle signal to the boatman. Without warning, two of the servants grabbed the boy, and despite his struggles, threw him into the river. The cold water swallowed him, and the boy's panic turned to sheer terror as he flayed his arms, desperately trying to stay afloat. A few moments later, the boy struggled in the water, gasping for breath and realizing how dangerous the situation had become. The boat, which he had feared so much, now seemed like the safest place in the world. His cries for help were no longer about his fear of the boat, but his fear of drowning. After letting the boy experience the water's danger for a short while, the wise man ordered the servants to pull him back to the boat. Shivering and wet, the boy clung to the side of the boat as if it was his lifeline. He no longer feared it. In fact, he was deeply grateful to be back on board. The king, watching this unfold, was both shocked and amazed. The boy, who had been so terrified just moments ago, now sat quietly in the corner of the boat, holding on to it as if it were the most precious thing in the world. Turning to the wise man, the king asked, "What lesson was this? How did you manage to calm him so quietly?" The wise man smiled and replied, "Your Majesty, this boy had never experienced true danger. He feared the boat because he did not understand that it was his safety. By letting him taste the real danger of the river, he learned the true value of the boat's protection. Only those who have faced hardship can fully appreciate comfort and security." The king, always eager to learn from the wisdom of others, nodded thoughtfully. He realized that sometimes people do not understand the value of peace and comfort until they have experienced the opposite. The boy had learned a valuable lesson about fear and safety, and in turn, the king had gained a new understanding of the deeper nature of human gratitude. For the rest of the journey, the boy remained calm and silent. He no longer feared the boat, and he was thankful for the peace it provided. The king too felt a sense of peace, knowing that the boy had learned an important lesson through the experience. From that day on, the king often reflected on this journey. He understood that true kindness sometimes meant allowing people to face their fears in order to grow stronger and wiser. His soft heart remained full of compassion, but he also gained a deeper appreciation for the wisdom of experience. The wise man continued to be a trusted advisor, and the story of the boy's lesson spread throughout the kingdom, reminding everyone that peace and comfort are the most valued after we have known hardship. And so, the king's journey across the river not only brought him to the new lands but also new wisdom, enriching his rule and deepening his connection with his people. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more interesting videos.